All right, yo fans, we're back here with head coach Mike Morosky after an amazing win against Montana Western. Such a big win, coach. Before we jump into the emotions and theatrics of that last drive, let you talk about especially first year offense, right? Andy Peters has a great game, bunch of receivers step up. So how proud of you of that offense to just keep firing and making plays for you guys and keeping you in the game?
Well, we knew that Western was capable of scoring points. So, I had an inkling that we talked last week about their quarterback. Their coach knows, has known about this kid, and he was everything that we thought he would be. So, and they're tough on us. They're just a tough matchup. I think their coach Norse from Western is really good in the pass game, and so they had a good plan. They moved it down the field on us, had us on our heels a little bit, though not as bad as last year.
No.
So I thought we made good adjustments at some point, but we were able to, early in the game, we were able to stay in, and Andy made some great throws. Broch Richardson, of course, he got hurt on that very first long pass, set us up for a touchdown, and we just really did some good things. And Andy just got better and better throughout the game. I mean, I think he's just really, really settling in. It's tough on him. Quarterback's a tough position in what we're asking him to do, so it is a lot. But he was fantastic, and again, running the ball, he was phenomenal. So 100 yards rushing for a quarterback without an 80-yard run was spectacular. And then the receivers that stepped up. Broch went down in the first series, and then it was Cash Cowdrey, it was Jovan Soul, and Gavin Ozuna, guys that the fans may not know about. The parents are cheering, I know, but these guys not only played good, they played very well in the most clutch moments.
That's what
which really, it just fires me up as a coach. It means we're doing something right where guys have that level of belief. As you get down to the second and third strings, I mean, really, you have to be ready.
Absolutely.
Anytime and every time, and so that was phenomenal. That was great to see, and again, maybe I'm jumping ahead to the last drive, but those guys had never been in a 2-minute situation.
Yep.
So anyway, they're catching the ball, stepping out of bounds. Anyway, so all sorts of neat stuff.
Absolutely.
And I should say the defense played very, very well in the second half.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And we had our chance to put the game away, and that's football. And we thought we were on the line of scrimmage, weren't on the line of scrimmage. So the big pass to Schofield down the sideline gets called back, and we get no points in that drive where we could have gone back up by 10 with 5 or 6 minutes to go. So, but that's football. Got to be ready, and to drive the field at the end of the game.
Absolutely.
Why not? That's what you practice all the time for. So
absolutely. And just speaking on that, I think even as you look over the last handful of years and some of the tight games that you guys continue to have been able to pull out, and just the resiliency of the team, and it's hard to give up a score with a minute left, and then you get tackled inside the 20 on the kickoff, and you got to go on a long drive with a minute, but obviously your team has an ability to stay calm and just make the plays and focus on the plan. So can you speak to just how you guys are able to stay resilient and stay calm in those situations, and also just how proud you are of your team of never panicking?
Yes, and there's everything is designed, and there's the recipe is set for panic, So again, and that's one reason, Broch, why I don't call the plays, because I feel like that's my job to somehow try to be composed enough to know, okay, what are we trying to do here? And so at least spoke to Andy and the coaches and just said, our goal here, 1 minute to go, we got 3 timeouts, is just to get a shot at the end zone.
Yep.
That's our goal.
Yep.
So 19-yard line or whatever it was. So anyway, so hats off to Coach Brian Taylor and Leon, and they kind of embraced that. And we again didn't panic. We threw short a couple times. Andy ran the ball a couple times, and so I think that, and you would know even from your days that I believe in you. You trust your players. And yet you have to prep them. Yep. So that they can utilize their intelligence and smarts, and I think that's what we did.
Yeah.
So I thought that was again fantastic, and I can't tell you how proud I am. I mean, it was just fantastic. But again, the execution on that last drive was as good as we played ever. So it was really, really fantastic.
Yeah, and it just shows you how critical, and again, credit to you and your staff and your players that how well you guys are just able to operate in situational football. And so often, especially in a great conference and against great opponents, that's what it comes down to. Can you operate in situations?
Yes, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but just the whole, just getting a shot to go to the end zone, some people would differ with that, and they could, and I'm sure there were some people in the stands thinking, what are you guys doing? Why are you throwing quick outs?
Yeah.
Why are you, thinking get down there, but when you do that, in my opinion, that breeds desperation and panic, which you don't really need,
No.
We got the ball down to the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
We had options at that time.
Especially when you got 3 timeouts. There's no reason to get ahead of ourselves.
And again, hats off to sometimes things happen and Coach Jewell needs to take a timeout. So I just believe in, hey, let's try not to. So our operations have been good. So we've had multiple timeouts at least in these situations where we've had to drive the field late in the game. So that's
huge.
Yeah, it just buys time.
Yes, sir.
1 minute is like 2 minutes.
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir. And so going to that last play, you guys, a little bit of a Hail Mary there, and you set it up as a Hail Mary, and like you and I were talking about before the show, a lot of fans, obviously just see us just kind of throwing it, hucking it to the end zone. Hopefully someone comes down to it. And there's obviously an element of that. But there is a play there, and there is a formation, and there is a guy, John Schofield is there in that spot for a reason. It's not just luck. So can you just talk about, that play and your ability to execute what you're actually going for there?
Yeah. So normally it's 3 by 1. Most teams will go 3 by 1, and we did historically go 3 by 1. And then the one guy, the 3 are going to go down and try to jump up for the ball. One of the guys trying to catch a tip in the back. The one is trying to be the trailer, so to speak.
Yep.
So we said, well, and this is weeks ago when we put it in, we changed the formation to that 4 guys on one side or diamond set.
Yep.
Took out the running back, put in Ben Ruby at tight end. So we changed the protection too. So we just sprint out and give the quarterback room and time to buy time, so to speak, to let the guys get down there.
Yep.
But we're on the 25-yard line, so it's a little bit different. It's a little more compressed. And so that's the fun. That's when the funny part goes. And then have our 2 big guys, Cash and Torrey Watkins, both great basketball players, great rebounders, and can jump. Jace Appleby is the guy in the back, and he was 3 yards out of the end zone. And then Schofield's the trailer. So the funny thing about it is, and for those of you that saw the clip, it's incredible. I think it's still posted online, isn't it, guys? Yeah. So Andy throws the ball too far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going out of the end zone.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, if he throws it any shorter, it may not happen the way it happened. So so there is an element of luck. There's no doubt about that.
Of course, anytime.
But the way it went, there was 7 guys that jumped up in the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Our 2 guys, maybe one of their guys hit it right back to Schofield to the trailer.
Yeah.
And not like they were trying to bat it back. They're just trying to keep it alive.
Yep. You got to get your hand on it.
And then it's the trailer's job to just be there and, snag it before it hits the ground. So a little bit of strategy, a lot of luck, and it was sweet.
Yeah, absolutely, just incredible emotion.
Awesome.
Yeah, incredible emotion, and just so awesome to see the scene at Simplot Stadium, and that's just what makes the sport great, college football great. It's the moments like that your players and yourself will never forget a play like that, no matter what. You may forget scores of games or what have you, but you never forget something like that.
Never forget.
Yes.
And we've had a number of them too.
Absolutely,
so a lot of unforgettables, which is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, well, moving on, Coach. Just a couple quick questions. We'll get to, I want to ask you quickly about Montana Tech at the end here, but first and foremost, you guys are in a bye week right now. You guys historically have been good off bye weeks and taken well advantage of them. So, and I think every year it might change a little bit based on what you need to do for your bye week, whether it's more self-scout or more getting healthy. But, this year right now, what are you guys trying to get out of your bye week?
Well, we feel like we didn't play as well as we can, for sure. And so we left some points out there, as I mentioned before. Defensively, we think we can play better, and we didn't. So we feel very fortunate to have beaten Montana Western. But this week there was a new resolve, I think, and the way I presented it to the team was, hey, we have to be more disciplined, and we have to be a little bit better. And games are hard to win.
Yep.
Games are hard to win. This isn't going to be the last close game that we're going to have. So I would say, has been by far the best bye week we've ever had.
Amazing.
So we went back to kind of very difficult drills, but they're my favorite drills. Inside run,
Oh, yeah,
where
low
everybody
yeah.
knows we're running. We're load levering, we're push cracking, and then blitz pickup.
Yeah.
So it just moves everybody a little bit quicker. We need to get better, and Yotes versus Yotes. So it's just fast, and so anyway. So it was great.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Awesome.
And so I think the players bought in. I think the enthusiasm was high. Maybe because of the Scout Bowl, but it was our guys are smart, and I believe in that. I believe in appealing to the smartness and intelligence of our guys. They know that they didn't play very good. It's not like a coach has to. I don't believe that I have to berate them, but I do feel like it's my responsibility to. Hey, it's all there for us.
Yep.
It's just if we can pull it together a little bit. And so, and we've got injuries. Joe Calzaretta's down, Tanner Steele's down. Different guys are going to have to step in. But the strength of our team is the depth and the intelligence, and hopefully us continuing to improve. I kind of feel like the team that improves the most is going to be the team that wins the Frontier Conference.
Yes, sir. So, especially with so much great competition.
So the bye week came at a good time, too.
Yeah.
So as our scheduling just kind of fell into place, having 3 games rather than 1 or 2, I think is nice.
Yeah. 1,
we needed some rest. 2, we needed to recalibrate, refocus a little bit. So that's what we used the bye week for.
Yes, sir. And that's wonderful, and obviously a great critical answer there. And so, headed to Montana Tech, always a huge game, tough place to play. Pulled out some really close ones there at Montana Tech, so always a battle. They're a very great team. Coming off of a pretty dominant win against a Division II opponent, Central Washington. Really, they controlled that game, and I watched it on film, and they looked like the better team the whole way. Right. So, what do you see out of Tech early? I know you guys are still focusing on yourselves, but what do you see out of them early, and what kind of challenges?
Yeah, we've looked at them a little bit, and they're very good. I mean, I think that that they're as good or better than anybody in the conference, and have been for quite some time. So they're, but they've been caught on the negative side of the Frontier Conference ledger. They've lost some really close games, and we've won some really close games. So I think they're maybe the best team in the conference. And playing up there is they got a great little setup, and I think we look forward to going up there. So it's going to be quite a game.
Absolutely.
So I think they're big and tough up front. They do on offense. They will go big and try to just run it down your throat, and then they always have a couple of fast receivers, and they will throw deep, and so we know that that's the way they view us. They feel like they maybe have to, and then defensively, they've done some good stuff. I mean, they shut us down for almost completely in the first half last year. We had a better second half. But second-year defensive coordinator who does a great job, and we got our hands full.
Absolutely.
They're going to be a really good team.
Yes, sir.
But that's the way we have come to expect in the Frontier
Conference.
So.
It's going to be week in and week out. That's why you love playing in this league.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Broch.
All right, Yote fans, this is a little bit of an addition to the Steel Show here. We have awesome long snapper Devin Long with us for this episode, and he's actually the editor and really the chief of the Steel Show and the guy that really makes this thing go. You always see myself and Coach Mo in front of the camera, but without Devin Long behind the camera, none of this would be able to happen, and I mean that in the most sincere way. And so, before we get into the Steel Show stuff, Devin, I want to ask you about social media, because obviously you're a huge part of the Yotes football social media and Instagram accounts and different things, and just from my experience from the time I played here to now, the social media over the last few years has just grown so much in its creativity and the focus you guys are putting in it and the fun that you're having with it. So, just talk a little bit about the evolution of the social media with Yotes football and what you guys have been able to do and where all that creativity's come from.
Yeah, I mean, this passion that I kind of got for social media started when I became a freshman here. And I was looking at, it was during COVID, so I spent a lot of time on social media during that. And I was looking at, our social media, and it was a little subpar, it was like little basic stuff, and I thought to myself, that's something I could easily do better. And then I looked at, like Division I programs, and I was looking at the stuff they were posting and the graphics they were making for game day stuff, and I was like, that's definitely something I could easily do. So I had a conversation with Coach Mo freshman year, and he kind of just let me take it over, and over the years, I've gotten better and better, and I've gotten a lot of compliments about it, and that just makes me happy. But,
Awesome.
Coach Mo just talked about how can we make the program grow, and I think the social media aspect is a big part of it.
Absolutely.
So I was just glad to be able to be a huge part of the evolution of our program.
Totally. No, and like I said, man, just again, huge props to you, and you and everyone that helps you has just done such a hell of a job, and as a former player and now just really a fan, it's so awesome to be able to follow along and again just see that growth. So great job and credit to you as always. Moving to the Steel Show, not only and this is why fans, this guy just does so much for the program, both on the field but behind the scenes here, and he's been the editor of the Steel Show for the last couple seasons, and again, I can't thank him enough for that. So, take us through your process a little bit, because, even for the last Steel Show, you're adding plays in as Coach Mo and I are talking over certain things, and even the Steel Show from the beginning to now has gotten so much better, and such a part of that is you. And so talk a little about your process of editing the Steel Show and kind of what goes into that.
Yeah, so definitely this, the way I edit my videos actually started when I was in high school. I took a broadcasting class, and so with that broadcasting class, I learned how to edit kind of like news story type videos, and the way I was taught how to edit, I kind of just translated it to here, so that's why I kind of switched to the 2-camera system, because we went from just having one camera just in front, and it was just like, when there's just one camera and it's just talking the whole time, a person could lose interest very easily. So when you have a 2-camera setup, you can have intercuts right there. It keeps the viewers on their toes, especially when it switches. And then with the videos and editing, when you talk about games, the school does a great job with getting those videos up immediately. So I just take those videos, find the clips that you're talking about specifically. So like when we're talking about the Hail Mary today, I'll use the Hail Mary video the school posted on social media, and then I'll just intercut it. I'll probably intercut it over this right now, and then intercut it with the conversations about the Hail Mary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Devin, again, man, we just appreciate you so much. Yo fans, I hope you guys know how hard this guy works to bring you guys content and show you behind the scenes of the program, things at practice and otherwise. So, Devin, thanks so much for everything you do, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Yo fans, we're here with stud wide receiver Cash Cowdery out of Middleton High School. Made a bunch of big plays in a crazy game against Western last week. So, Cash, I'll just jump right into it. Before we get into the emotions of a crazy win, for you yourself, you're a guy that gets pretty consistent playing time, but obviously had a bigger role in the passing game last week. We're able to make some plays out there. So what was it like to be able to just contribute at a higher level and help you guys get a win?
Honestly, it was just super fun. I love being out there with the guys. One of our better wideouts ended up tweaking his knee a little bit. So we had plenty of other guys step up. Gavin Ozuna and Jovan stepped up big, and I had to play a little bit more. John Krebs also had to play a different position while Broch was out, and so we just have probably the deepest wide receiver room we've had yet, and so it was just nice seeing everyone being able to step up.
Yeah, no, and you guys showed that in a huge way. I mean, you go through the film, you just see so many different guys making plays and contributions in the pass game, which was awesome to see. Well, getting into, obviously, anyone that saw the game saw what happened and a Hail Mary win, and what was the emotion just like in a back and forth game, and obviously we've been able to pull out some kind of crazy games over the last few years and last minute drives. So what was the mindset going into the drive, right, with a minute left, and then after you guys make that final play, what are the emotions like there?
I mean, the emotions were high. It was probably the craziest game I've been a part of, probably the craziest, one of the craziest plays I've ever made in a game, just we marched down the field. We're really good in last second in that fourth quarter. I feel like we've done it before. And just we got down to a good spot. We called our last time out, and just they were like, okay, we're going to run this certain set. And so they put us out there for the personnel, and it ended up working out. Me and Tori kind of got our hands on it. I ended up getting it with my left hand, and then just the last thing I could see was John Schofield waiting in the back of the end zone for it, and it was awesome. The stadium and all the players just rushing onto the field and whatnot. It was just a great feeling, and there's nothing like it. So.
Absolutely, and when you guys start that drive, you get the ball back. I think it was maybe a touchback, or I think we got tackled actually inside the 20 maybe, and so you got a ways to go there with a minute left. What's the what's the words in the huddle? What are you guys telling yourselves in order to stay calm and be able to execute a final drive like that?
We just know our game plan, and at the end of the day, we know that we're a super athletic team with super talented players that can make plays, regardless if you're a 1 or a 2. And everyone just stepped up, and we stayed calm. Andy was able to scramble a little bit and buy some extra time to move that ball, and he played great. He threw for 330 plus yards, and it was awesome. And so we just were like, we have to stay calm and march down the field and go score.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. Hell of a job by you guys. And this week, you're in a bye week, comes at a pretty good time to, take a look at what you guys are doing well, what you're not doing well, get some extra time to work on some things as well as get guys healthy. And so, what from an offensive perspective, what's your guys' focus right now in a bye week?
Mainly just rehabbing, our strength and conditioning coach. He's been getting us right. We do a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility stuff that's just good for the body. Yesterday we had a great scout bowl. It was awesome to see some of the younger guys step up.
Those are always the best.
And show what they can do, and the team camaraderie was really high. We all came together and just, it was a good time. The energy was high, the morale was high, and just going into a bye week like that, it's nice to get the extra rest, extra game planning, because we have a really big game coming up. So
absolutely. Well, Cash, thanks so much for your time, brother.
Thank
Good luck
you.
the rest of the year.
Appreciate it.
All right, Yote fans, we're here with stud young safety Tanner Steele out of Vail, Oregon here, guy who's really stepped up as a young guy this year and had a much bigger role. So Tanner, just jumping into it personally, like I said, this year, last year you redshirt, this year as you redshirt freshman, you come into a starting role and have to be, a young leader on the defense. And so what's it been like to kind of get more in the spotlight and have a lot more opportunities this year?
It's been a big adjustment. It's been fun. Obviously, that's the goal, especially when you're a redshirt. It takes a lot of patience. Obviously, I mean, you're playing scout team for the other team, for our offense, and just trying to make them better. And I think definitely it's a lot about taking advantage of the time you have down there, because, I mean, that's the hardest part, because, it's not necessarily the most glamorous job to have. And so, especially, redshirts this year and stuff, I've had conversations with a few of them, just taking advantage of it and making you better, because you're getting reps against the number ones, every day. And so
Absolutely.
It really can make you a lot better if you take advantage of it.
No doubt, and that's the right mentality. And you see the guys who take advantage of that year really can shine, and it can catapult them for the rest of their career, right? And so, no, that's great. So, just like I asked Cash last week, back and forth game, craziness, wild finish.
Yeah.
We've had a few of those over the years, and that's just what it is in the Frontier Conference. You're going to play some battles. And so what was it like just being a part of such an emotional game like that?
Oh, I was in disbelief, to be honest, especially being a defensive guy after they were able to score that last touchdown on us. It was hard. I mean, we were, completely at the mercy of our offense, and then for that to be pulled off, we were in disbelief. And I mean, honestly, it was huge for us, because, I mean, we were, as a defense, we were able to learn some lessons and learn, some things we need to improve on, and we didn't have to lose doing it. And so that was huge for us. I mean, especially with the bye week being this week, we had a week to kind of go back to the basics, break down what we need to work on, and be able to go into next week.
Absolutely. And so looking at the bye week, as a defense, do you guys take it as, okay, Western game, hit some chunk plays on you guys, very good offense, but probably gave up a little bit more than you'd like to. And so are you guys really taking a deep dive into that, looking ahead to Tech, or are you just kind of really working on yourselves and getting back to the fundamentals? How do you guys approach that?
I think we spent about a day talking about Western, of just some key mistakes, and I mean, and a lot of it was just really little things. I mean, it was just basic things that we know how to do.
Got to tackle a little better.
Yeah, you clean that up, and it changes so many things, because football's obviously a game of inches, and it's like you clean this up, you clean that up. I mean, you wipe out a lot of those chunk plays. And so I think we spent about a day working on talking about Western, and then it was moving on to ourselves, and then moving on to Montana Tech.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Well, fans, thank you so much for tuning into another week of the Steel Show. Excited to get you guys back at Simplot Stadium in a couple weeks after a big game up at Montana Tech. And Tanner, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.